She just wanted to introduce her mother to the kind man, without knowing he was a millionaire. Emma Mitchell wiped away her tears discreetly as she served the last customer in the early hours at the small cafe in Greenwich Village. At 25, she balanced 2 jobs to support Lily, her 6-year-old daughter, after the girl's father had abandoned them without explanation 3 years ago. It was then that Lily, who was playing quietly with her teddy bear in the corner reserved for her, stood up and walked determinedly to the table, where a man in a burgundy suit was drinking his coffee alone, as he had done every afternoon for 2 months. "Hi, kind mister," said Lily in her sweet voice, holding her teddy bear tightly. "My name is Lily and I want you to meet my mommy." Emma almost dropped the tray upon hearing her daughter's words. She rushed to the table, her face red with embarrassment. "Lily, come back here right now." "I am sorry, sir, she shouldn't bother you." The man smiled with genuine tenderness, bending down to Lily's height. "It's no problem at all. I'm Ryan. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lily, and your mommy too." "Mommy, this is the man who always smiles at me when you're not looking," explained Lily with the typical straightforwardness of children. "He looks lonely, just like you when you think I don't see you crying." Emma felt the ground give way beneath her feet. The intuition of a 6-year-old had captured something she had been trying to hide from the whole world. "Lily, sweetie, let's let Mr. Ryan have his coffee in peace," said Emma, trying to hide her discomfort. "Actually," Ryan interjected gently, "I was just thinking it would be nice to have some company, if you don't mind, of course." Lily clapped her little hands and sat in the chair next to Ryan before Emma could protest. The man ordered a hot chocolate for the girl and insisted that Emma sit down too, since the cafe was slow that Tuesday afternoon. "You come here every day," observed Lily, stirring her chocolate with her little finger. "Why don't you bring your family?" Ryan hesitated for a moment but answered honestly, "I don't have a family, Lily. My parents passed away when I was about your age." "That's sad," said the girl, extending her teddy bear to him. "Then you can be part of our family. Mummy always says family isn't just who you're born with." Emma swallowed hard, mortified by her daughter's spontaneity, but touched by the purity of her feelings. "Lily, you can't just go around inviting people to be part of our family like that," she gently scolded. "Why not?" asked Lily, genuinely confused. "He's kind, always leaves you a big tip, and has sad eyes just like yours. You match." Ryan laughed, a genuine laugh that Emma wasn't sure she had ever heard before. "Your daughter has incredible perception," he commented, looking at Emma, "and you must be very proud of her." "I am," admitted Emma, relaxing a little. "She's all I have." "And I'm all Mommy has," added Lily proudly. "But it would be nice to have someone else, right, Mummy? For when you get too tired." The conversation was interrupted by the arrival of other customers, forcing Emma to return to work. Ryan remained at the table with Lily, who began drawing on napkins while he worked on his laptop. When Emma passed by to clear the dishes, Lily had made 3 drawings, one of herself, another of her mother, and a third of Ryan. They were all smiling and holding hands. "For you," said Lily, handing the drawing to Ryan. "So you don't forget you have a family now." Ryan looked at the drawing for a long moment, and Emma noticed his eyes were slightly moist. "It's the most beautiful gift I've ever received," he said, carefully placing the drawing in his wallet. "Thank you so much, Lily." In the following days, the routine repeated itself. Lily would run to greet Ryan as soon as he arrived, and he always made time to talk with her while Emma worked. The little girl started bringing her colored pencils to draw especially for him. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out, now continuing. A week later, Lily woke up with a high fever. Emma had to miss work to take her to the health clinic, where they spent the entire day waiting to be seen. The girl was weak, but her first worry wasn't for herself. "Mommy, Mr. Ryan is going to be worried if I'm not there today," Lily murmured through the fever. "He'll understand, sweetheart," replied Emma, worried about her daughter's temperature. When they returned home in the late afternoon, Emma found an envelope that had been slipped under her door. Inside was a card with a simple message, "I hope Lily feels better, warmly, Ryan." Along with the card was enough money to cover the lost day of work. Emma felt a mix of gratitude and discomfort. On one hand, the gesture showed genuine concern. On the other, she had spent her whole life fighting not to depend on anyone. The next day, with Lily still at home recovering, Emma went to work determined to return the money. But Ryan didn't show up. Not that day, nor the next. "Where's Mr. Ryan, Mummy?" asked Lily, already feeling better. "Do you think he got mad because I wasn't there?" "No, honey. Maybe he's busy." But deep down, Emma suspected he had distanced himself because of the money. Maybe he had noticed she was uncomfortable with the gesture. On the third day, Lily was well enough to go back to the cafe. She sat at her usual table, drawing and waiting. With every customer who entered, she lifted her head hopefully, only to be disappointed again. "Isn't he going to come any more, Mommy?" asked Lily, her tears dripping onto the drawing she was making. "I don't know, sweetheart. Sometimes people get busy." "But I made a special drawing for him." Lily showed her creation. Ryan, her and Emma in a park, all smiling. "I wanted to give it to him." Emma felt her heart tighten. Her daughter had grown attached to Ryan in a way she hadn't fully realized. That night, after Lily fell asleep, Emma took the envelope with the money and went out to look for Ryan. She didn't know where he lived, but decided to walk through the neighborhood hoping to find him. 2 blocks from the cafe, she saw him walking alone, hands in his pockets, with the same thoughtful air as always. "Ryan," she called out. He turned, surprised. "Emma? What are you doing here?" "I came to return this," she said, holding out the envelope. "And I wanted to know why you disappeared. I thought maybe it was better to keep my distance. I didn't want you to feel pressured or uncomfortable. And Lily, she's been asking for you for 3 days." Ryan lowered his head. "I'm sorry. I didn't think that she would care so much." "She made a special drawing for you," Emma told him. "She kept waiting for you to show up at the cafe." Can I see her tomorrow? To explain?" "I think she'd like that." The next day, when Lily saw Ryan enter the cafe, her face lit up like Christmas. "Mr. Ryan, I thought you had gone away forever." "Never, Lily. I was just sorting some things out. But I'm here now." Lily ran to him with the drawing in her hand. "Look what I made for you. It's the 3 of us in the park. Can we go to the park for real one day?" Ryan looked at Emma, seeking approval. "If your mother allows it, of course we can." "Can I, Mommy? Please?" Emma hesitated. Accepting would mean crossing a line she had drawn to protect herself. But seeing her daughter's hopeful eyes, she nodded. "On Sunday, if you behave well." Sunday arrived sunny. Emma was nervous, but Lily was radiant. They met Ryan at Central Park, and for the first time, Emma saw her daughter play with the carefree nature of a child who felt truly safe. Ryan pushed Lily on the swing, helped her climb the slide, and even joined an imaginary treasure hunt. Emma watched from a bench, torn between the joy of seeing her daughter so happy and the fear of allowing herself to dream of something that might not last. "Your daughter is special," said Ryan, sitting next to Emma while Lily played in the sand. "She is everything to me," replied Emma. "That's why I'm so afraid of her being disappointed." "By what?" "By people who might leave her life without warning, like her father did." Ryan was silent for a moment. "I understand your fear, but I also understand Lily. It's hard growing up without a father figure. I grew up that way. What happened to your parents?" "My father had a heart attack when I was 7. My mother couldn't handle the loss, and she left 2 years later. I was raised by an aunt who did what she could, but it was never the same." Emma felt a pang of empathy. "I'm sorry. That must have been very hard." "It was. That's why I understand the importance of Lily having people who care about her. And that's also why I understand your fear of trusting." They were interrupted by Lily, who ran to them with a handful of flowers she had picked. "One for you, Mommy, and one for you, Mr. Ryan," she said, distributing the flowers. "Now you both have to promise you'll be friends forever." Emma and Ryan exchanged a look, both touched by the child's seriousness. "I promise," said Ryan. "Me too," whispered Emma. In the following days, the cafe routine gained a new rhythm. Ryan always arrived at the same time, Lily would run to greet him, and he had become a natural part of the environment. Other customers already knew him, and the other employees approved of his presence. Until one afternoon, Karen, one of the older waitresses, pulled Emma aside. "Do you know who Ryan is?" "What do you mean?" "I looked him up on the internet. Emma, that man is the heir to one of the largest construction companies in New York. His family owns half the Upper East Side." Emma felt the world spin. "That's impossible. He comes here every day, talks to Lily, he's simple." "It's true. Google it. Ryan Anderson Mitchell. He inherited everything when his parents passed away." Emma spent the rest of the day in shock. When Ryan arrived, she could barely look at him. All their previous interactions played like a movie in her head. The generous tips, the free time during the day, the way he never talked about work. "Is everything okay, Emma?" asked Ryan, noticing her change in behavior. "Everything," she replied curtly, avoiding eye contact. Lily noticed the tension immediately. "Why is Mommy acting strange today?" she asked Ryan. "I don't know, Lily. Maybe she's tired." But Emma overheard the conversation and felt a mix of anger and humiliation. How had she been so naive? How had she not realized she was being treated as a charity case? That night, after Lily fell asleep, Emma cried as she hadn't cried in months. She felt used, manipulated, and above all naive for believing that someone like Ryan could genuinely be interested in people like her and Lily. The next day, when Ryan arrived, Emma asked Karen to serve him. "Where's Mommy?" asked Lily. "She's busy in the kitchen," lied Emma, watching from a distance. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out, now continuing. Ryan noticed the change immediately. After a few unsuccessful attempts to talk to Emma, he approached the counter. "Can I know what I did wrong?" "Nothing," Emma replied coldly. "I just think it's better to keep distance between employees and customers." "Emma, I don't understand. Sunday was a mistake. Lily is a child. She gets attached easily. I don't want her to get confused." Ryan was visibly hurt but nodded. "If that's what you want." He said goodbye to Lily, who was confused by her mother's sudden coldness, and left the cafe. For 3 days, Ryan did not appear. Lily drew obsessively, always portraits of him with tears, asking if they had done something wrong. "Mommy, did I say something bad to Mr. Ryan?" "No, sweetie. He just had to take care of some things in his life. But he promised he would be my friend forever. And you promised too." Emma didn't know how to explain to a 6-year-old the complex feelings of wounded pride and distrust that consumed her. On the 4th day, the bomb exploded. The cafe owner, Mr. Robert, called Emma for a talk. "Emma, you've been absent a lot lately. Lily got sick. You had to leave early yesterday to deal with a problem at daycare, the day before you were late." "Mr. Robert, I can explain." "No need to explain. I understand it's hard being a single mother, but I have a business to run. If you can't get organized, I'll have to hire someone more available." Emma felt desperation take over. That job, even poorly paid, was her main source of income. "Please, give me one more chance. I promise I'll get better organized." "1 week, Emma. If there's one more absence or lateness, you're fired." That night, Emma did the math. The rent was overdue, the daycare had raised its price, and she still had to buy medicine for Lily, who had developed a persistent cough. If she lost the cafe job, even with working at the supermarket at night, she wouldn't be able to cover all the expenses. Lily, sensing her mother's worry, came to her with another drawing. "So you won't be sad, Mommy. It was a simple drawing, the two of them holding hands, smiling under a yellow sun." "Why did you draw only the two of us, sweetie?" asked Emma. "Because you got mad at Mr. Ryan, but I still like him. He looks like someone who solves problems." The innocence of the observation made Emma cry harder. How to protect Lily from the harshness of the world without taking away her ability to see goodness in people? The next morning, Lily woke up with a worse cough. Emma knew she needed to take her to the doctor, but she also knew she couldn't miss work. "Mommy, can I stay alone today? I promise I'll take the syrup and won't leave the house." "No, sweetie, you can't stay alone. We'll figure something out." Emma called the only trusted neighbor, Mrs. Dorothy, but she was traveling. There was no alternative. She would have to miss another day. Arriving at the health clinic, they found a huge line. Lily was visibly weak, resting her head on Emma's shoulder. "Mommy, do you think Mr. Ryan is okay?" Lily asked between coughs. "Why are you thinking about him, sweetie?" "Because I dreamed about him last night. He was sad, alone in a very big house. I think he needs a hug." Emma felt a tightness in her chest. Lily's empathy for others, even when she herself was suffering, was something that always moved and worried her at the same time. After 4 hours of waiting, they were finally seen. The doctor prescribed expensive antibiotics and rest. Emma left the pharmacy with the little money she had, knowing nothing was left for the rent. When they arrived home in the late afternoon, Emma found an envelope under the door. Inside was an eviction notice. She had 1 week to settle the debt or leave the apartment. That night, after Lily fell asleep, Emma allowed herself to break down. Sitting on the living room floor, surrounded by unpaid bills, she cried all the tears she had been holding back. That's when she heard a soft knock at the door. She quickly wiped her tears and opened it. It was Ryan, holding a pharmacy bag. "Sorry to show up so late. Karen told me Lily was sick. I brought some medicine that might help." Emma stared at him, torn between the relief of seeing him and the anger at him appearing right at her most vulnerable moment. "You don't need to. We already went to the doctor." "Emma, can I come in? We need to talk." "Lily is sleeping. It's not a good time. Please, 5 minutes." Against her better judgment, Emma let him in. Ryan immediately saw the papers scattered around the room, bills, collection notices, the eviction. "Emma, you don't need to pretend you care," she said, quickly gathering the papers. "I know who you are. I know about your family, your inheritance. It must be fun to play at helping poor people." Ryan stopped, visibly hurt. "Is that what you think of me? What should I think? You never mentioned who you really were. You let me believe that we were somehow the same." "We are the same, Emma. Where does it say that money makes me different from you? You can solve all your problems with money. I have to fight for every dollar. We're not the same. You're right about one thing. I can solve financial problems with money, but I can't buy what you two have given me." Emma stared at him, confused. "What have we given you?" "Purpose. Lily made me feel like my life is good for something beyond managing an inheritance I never asked for. And you? You showed me what true strength is." "Ryan, I lost my parents when I was a child, Emma. I inherited everything, but I never had a real family. I never knew what it felt like to be needed by someone. Lily made me feel that, and you made me want to be a better person." Emma felt her defenses beginning to crumble. "But why didn't you tell me who you were?" "Because it's happened before. People find out about the money and start treating me differently. Either they want to take advantage, or they get distant out of pride. I just wanted to be treated like a normal person." "And what do you want from us?" "I want to help. Not out of pity, not out of charity. Because I care about you. Lily is like the daughter I never thought I could have. And you—" He stopped, hesitating. "And I what?" "You are the strongest woman I've ever met, and I'm in love with you." Emma felt the floor move beneath her feet. "Ryan, you don't really know me. I'm just a waitress with a daughter and a pile of problems. You're a mother who works 2 jobs to give her daughter the best. You're a woman who keeps her dignity even in the worst situations. You're someone who raised an incredible child, full of love and empathy. How would that not be enough for any man?" Emma began to cry again, but this time not from despair. "I'm so afraid, Ryan. Afraid to trust, afraid to be disappointed, afraid of Lily being disappointed. I understand, but give me a chance to prove I'm trustworthy. Let me help you." "How?" "First, let me settle your bills. Not as a favor, but as an investment." "An investment in what?" "In you. I want to offer you a job managing my properties, a living wage, with a formal contract and daycare for Lily." Emma stared at him, incredulous. "Are you serious?" "Completely. You have organizational skills, experience with people, and a work ethic I admire. You just need formal qualifications." "I don't have the education for that, Ryan." "That's exactly why it's an investment. I'll pay for a vocational course. In 6 months you'll be qualified for the position. And what if I can't do it? What if I'm not good enough? Then at least you will have tried. And I'll have a clear conscience for giving an opportunity to someone who deserves it. Emma was silent for a long moment, processing the proposal. Why would you do this for us? Because you two changed my life. Because for the first time, I have a reason to use my position for something that really matters. And what about your feelings? That's separate. Even if you can never return what I feel for you, I still want you both to have a better life. I need to think, of course. But Emma, about the bills, let me at least take care of that. Lily needs a place to live. Emma looked toward the room where her daughter was sleeping. The coughing had subsided, but she was still fragile. All right, but I want a formal contract for the job, with a market-rate salary, not a favor. Agreed. In the following days, Emma's life changed drastically. Ryan paid off all her debts and enrolled her in an intensive business administration course. Lily, who didn't fully understand the changes, was just happy to see the nice mister back. "Mommy, are you two going to be together forever now?" Lily asked one afternoon, drawing at the coffee table during Emma's break. "I don't know, sweetie. Adult life is complicated." "Why is it complicated? You like each other, I like both of you, you like me. Shouldn't it be simple?" Emma smiled sadly. The child's logic made sense, but there were so many variables Lily couldn't understand. Sometimes things are simple, love, but sometimes they're not. During the first weeks of the course, Emma felt completely out of place. Her classmates were younger, more educated, more confident. She would come home exhausted, questioning if she had made the right choice. "Mommy is studying a lot," Lily commented one night, seeing Emma hunched over her books. "Yes, sweetie. Mommy is learning new things." "Mr. Ryan said you're very smart. He's sure you can do it." "He said that?" "Yes. And he also said he's proud of you for trying new things, even when you're scared." Emma felt a wave of emotion. Ryan had become a constant but discreet presence. He respected the space she had asked for, but was always available when needed. 1 month after the course started, Emma faced her first major crisis. The accounting teacher returned her test with a low grade and harsh comments about her lack of math foundation. "Perhaps you should consider a course more suited to your level," the teacher suggested coldly. Emma left the class humiliated and furious. On the way home, she seriously thought about quitting. It wasn't for her. She didn't have what it took. When she got home, she found Lily doing homework at the kitchen table. "Hi, Mommy, how was class?" "It was hard, sweetie." Lily stopped writing and looked at her mother seriously. "Mommy, you always tell me not to give up when something is hard at school." "That's true." "Then you can't give up either." Emma hugged her daughter, realizing a 6-year-old had more wisdom than she did at that moment. That night, after Lily fell asleep, Emma called Ryan. "Hi, sorry to call late, but I need help." "Of course. What do you need?" "Private math lessons. I can't keep up with the course." "Consider it done. I know an excellent teacher. She can start tomorrow." "Ryan, thank you for everything." "No need to thank me, Emma. We're in this together." The private tutoring made all the difference. Gradually, Emma began to regain her confidence. Her grades improved, and she discovered she really had an aptitude for administration. 3 months after starting the course, she was among the top students in her class. The same teacher who had suggested she change her course of study now praised her publicly. "You are proof that determination overcomes any obstacle," the teacher said after a particularly good presentation by Emma. Lily was growing too, adapting to the changes with the natural flexibility of children. She had stopped asking about the future of the relationship between Emma and Ryan, but her drawings continued to depict the three of them as a family. One evening, while Emma was studying, Lily came to her with a different drawing. "This is for you, Mommy." It was a portrait of Emma wearing a suit, holding a briefcase in front of a large building. In the corner, written in a child's handwriting, was, "My mommy is a boss. Do you think I can do it, Lily?" "Of course. You can do anything you really want to. And you? Are you happy with all these changes?" Lily thought for a moment. "I'm happy because you don't cry in secret anymore. And because Mr. Ryan smiles for real now, not just with sad eyes." Emma was impressed by her daughter's perception. You noticed he was sad before? I did. Just like you, but now you're both less sad. That makes me happy. 2 weeks before the end of the course, Ryan appeared at the cafe with an unexpected proposal. Emma, I need to tell you something. My family is questioning my decisions. What kind of questioning? Some relatives think I'm spending too much money on personal projects. Emma felt her stomach sink. They're talking about me and Lily. Unfortunately, yes. They want me to cut costs and focus only on traditional investments. And you? What do you think? I think it's my money and my choices, but I also know I need to be smart about it. What does this mean for my job? It means we need to speed up the process. Are you ready to start working even before finishing the course? Emma hesitated. She felt more confident, but still not completely ready. I think so. But what if I can't handle it? Then we'll learn together. Emma, I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. The following week, Emma started working part-time at Ryan's office, while finishing her course at night. Lily was enrolled in the company daycare, a much better environment than the previous one. The first day of work was frightening. Emma sat in a spacious room with a view of the city, in front of a computer with programs she barely knew how to use. Take a deep breath, said Ryan, appearing at the door. No one expects you to know everything on the first day. What if I mess up something important? Then we'll fix it. Emma, confidence is built one day at a time. Gradually, Emma found her rhythm. She discovered she had a knack for dealing with suppliers, organizing schedules, and solving logistical problems. Her experience dealing with people at the cafe proved more valuable than she had imagined. A month later, she was efficiently managing small projects. Ryan watched her progress with evident pride, but always maintaining a respectful professional distance. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing, that's when the first major professional crisis arrived. An important supplier cancelled a contract at the last minute, putting a construction project at risk. Emma was tasked with finding a solution. I don't know if I'll be able to fix this, she confessed to Ryan. So let's think together. What's the real problem? The supplier said they can't deliver the material on the promised date. What if we get another supplier? The others are more expensive. It will blow the budget. What if we renegotiate the deadline with the client? Emma spent the afternoon on the phone negotiating, researching alternatives, crunching numbers. By the end of the day, she had found a solution. A new supplier, a bit more expensive but with better quality material, and a client who accepted a slightly longer deadline in exchange for superior quality. How did you manage that? Asked Ryan, impressed. I talked to everyone as if they were people, not just numbers on a contract. I found out the client values quality over speed, and the new supplier was willing to give a better price for a first partnership. That's brilliant. You turned a problem into an opportunity for improvement. That night, Emma arrived home exhausted, but fulfilled. Mommy, you're different today, observed Lily. Different how? You have the same smile as Mr. Ryan, the smile of someone who managed to do something cool. Emma hugged her daughter, realizing she was right. For the first time in years, she felt competent, valued, capable. But the peace didn't last long. A week later, Ryan arrived at the office visibly worried. Emma, I need to tell you something. My Uncle Franklin is coming for a meeting today. He's one of the main shareholders of the company. And what's the problem? He doesn't approve of the changes I've made recently, especially hiring someone without formal experience. He's talking about me. Unfortunately, yes, he thinks I'm mixing personal matters with business. Are you? Ryan hesitated. Maybe a little, but the results speak for themselves. You saved the Anderson construction project. Ryan, if my presence here is causing problems for you... No, Emma, you earned your place here on your own merit. I won't let anyone question that. That afternoon, Emma met Franklin Mitchell, a man in his 60s, impeccably dressed and with a gaze that assessed everything around him. So, you're the famous Emma, he said, with a tone that wasn't exactly hostile, but wasn't friendly either. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you. Ryan told me about your journey. Interesting how someone goes from waitress to manager in such a short time. Emma felt the jab but kept her calm. I was privileged to have an opportunity, and I tried to make the most of it. And how are you adapting to the corporate world? I'm still learning a lot, but I believe my previous experience helps me understand that deep down, all business is about people. Franklin raised an eyebrow, slightly intrigued. Explain that better. At the cafe, I served people with different moods, needs, problems. I learned that solving issues is, to a large extent, about truly listening to what people need. I found that applies to suppliers, clients, employees. Interesting philosophy. And how did you apply that to the Anderson project? Emma took a deep breath and explained in detail how she had turned a crisis into an opportunity, focusing on the needs of each party involved. Franklin listened in silence, occasionally asking technical questions that Emma answered with growing confidence. "Ryan," said Franklin at the end of the conversation, "may I speak with you in private?" Emma left the room with her heart racing. Through the window, she saw the two men talking intensely. Ryan was gesturing, evidently defending a point, while Franklin listened with an impassive expression. 15 minutes later, Ryan returned alone. "So?" asked Emma. "He wants to see you in action for a few more months before giving a definitive opinion. Is that good or bad? Considering he came here determined to fire you, I'd say it's significant progress." In the following weeks, Emma felt the weight of constant observation. She knew that every decision, every project, every interaction was being evaluated. The pressure was intense, but it also motivated her to give her best. Lily, sensitive to her mother's mood changes, began drawing portraits of Emma as a superhero. "Why do you draw me like this, honey?" "Because you're fighting the villains at work, like in the cartoons I watch." "And do you think I'll win?" "Of course. Mums always win in the end." The simplicity of the answer made Emma smile for the first time in weeks. A month later, Emma faced her biggest challenge yet. An important client was dissatisfied with delays in his construction project and threatened to cancel the contract. The penalty for breach of contract would be devastating for the company. "This is your chance to prove your worth," said Ryan, handing the case to her. "If you can resolve this, no one will question your position here anymore." Emma spent 2 days studying every detail of the project, talking to engineers, checking suppliers, analyzing every aspect that could have caused the delay. She discovered that the real problem wasn't incompetence or poor management, but a series of external factors: atypical rainfall, a supplier strike, bureaucratic issues at City Hall. Instead of trying to justify the delays, Emma developed a different strategy. She prepared a complete presentation showing how the delays, although regrettable, would actually allow for improvements to the original project. "Mr. Thompson," she said to the furious client, "I completely understand your frustration. Delays are always problematic, but I'd like to show you how we can turn this situation into an advantage for you." For the next hour, Emma presented a detailed plan showing how the extra time could be used to implement structural improvements, incorporate new energy-efficient technologies, and add higher quality finishes, all at no additional cost to the client. "Are you saying the delays were intentional?" asked Thompson, still suspicious. "No, sir. The delays were circumstantial, but I am saying we can use this time to deliver a final product far superior to what was originally contracted." "And why would you do this at no extra cost?" "Because we value long-term relationships more than short-term profits. A satisfied client is worth more than any profit margin on a single project." Thompson was silent for a long moment, studying the documents Emma had prepared. "All right, I'll give it a chance, but I want weekly personal updates from you." "It will be my pleasure." When Emma left the meeting, she found Ryan waiting in the hallway. "How did it go?" "I got 3 more months of deadline and a client who is now excited instead of furious." Ryan spontaneously hugged her, but quickly pulled away, remembering the professional setting. "Sorry. It's just, I'm very proud of you." Emma felt her heart race at the brief touch, but maintained her composure. "Thank you for trusting me with something so important. You deserve that trust." 3 months later, the The project was delivered within the new deadline, with all the promised improvements. Thompson was so impressed that he immediately hired the company for 2 new projects. Franklin appeared at the office the next day. "Emma, can I talk to you?" "Of course, sir. I need to admit I was wrong about you. Not just about your competence, but about your motivations." "How so?" "I thought you were here just taking advantage of Ryan's generosity. Now I see you truly care about the company, the projects, the results. I do care. This opportunity changed my life and my daughter's. I want to honor the trust you placed in me. Ryan made the right decision hiring her, and I want to propose something." Emma waited, curious. "We want to expand our operations, create a specific division for client relations. I'd like you to lead that department." Emma was speechless for a moment. "Mr. Franklin, I don't know if I'm ready for such a big responsibility." "I think you are. And more importantly, Ryan thinks you are. He convinced me you have a natural talent for turning problems into opportunities." "Can I think about it?" "Of course, but don't take too long. Opportunities like this don't come around often." That night, Emma arrived home in a state of shock. Lily noticed immediately. "Mommy, did something good or bad happen?" "Good, I think. Very good, but also scary." "What was it?" "I was offered a promotion at work. A very big promotion." "That's good, right?" "Yes, but it means more responsibility, more pressure, more chances to mess up." Lily thought for a moment, with the seriousness she always showed when her mother needed advice. "Mommy, do you remember when I was afraid to ride my bike without training wheels?" "I remember. You said I'd never learn if I didn't try, and that even if I fell, you'd be there to help me get up." Emma smiled, impressed by her daughter's wisdom. "You're right. And now I have people who will help me get up if I fall. There's Mr. Ryan. He always helps you." "Yes, there's him." "Mommy." "What, sweetie?" "Do you like Mr. Ryan the way princesses like princes in the movies?" Emma choked on the direct question. "Why are you asking that?" "Because you look at each other like people who like each other in the movies, and because you act different when he's around." "Different how?" "Happier. More bright." Emma hugged her daughter, realizing there was no way to hide feelings from such a perceptive child. "It's complicated, honey. Sometimes adults like people, but they don't know if it's the right thing to do." "Why wouldn't it be right?" "Because we're different. He has a very different life from ours. But you work together now, and he comes over for dinner sometimes. And you talk about serious things. It doesn't seem that different." Emma was surprised by her daughter's analysis. Lily was right. In the last few weeks, Ryan had become a natural part of their routines. He helped Lily with homework, had dinner with them on weekends, joined conversations about the future. "Maybe you're right. Mommy, can I say something?" "Of course. I wish you two would stay together forever. Not just because I like him, but because you both are better when you're together." That night, after Lily fell asleep, Emma called Ryan. "Hi, do you have a few minutes to talk?" "Always. What do you need?" "Actually, I wanted to talk about Franklin's proposal and about other things." "Can I come over, or do you prefer to talk on the phone?" "You can come over." Ryan arrived in 20 minutes, bringing ice cream for Lily and flowers for Emma. "How did you know I needed flowers today?" she asked, smiling. "Male intuition," he joked. They sat in the small living room, and Emma noticed how that space had changed since Ryan started coming over. There were photos of Lily at company events, her drawings scattered on the walls, a feeling of family that didn't exist before. "About the proposal," Emma began. "You don't have to accept if you don't feel ready. There's no pressure. I want to accept. I'm scared, but I want to try." "Great, we'll make it work. Ryan, why do you believe in me so much?" He stayed silent for a moment. "Because you showed me that real strength has nothing to do with money or social position. It's about getting up every day and doing what needs to be done, even when it's hard." "I did what any mother would do." "That's not true. You did more. You kept your dignity, protected Lily, and still remained open to the world. Many people would become bitter in a situation like yours. I had bitter moments. But you didn't let the bitterness take over. That requires a strength I never had." You have your own strength, Ryan. You chose to use your position to help other people. Only after I met you, before that I was wasting my life. Emma moved closer to him on the sofa. Lily asked me a question today that got me thinking. What did she ask? If I like you the way princesses like princes in the movies. Ryan smiled. And what was your answer? That it's complicated, but maybe it's not so complicated after all. Emma, I was afraid to admit what I feel because I thought we were too different, but Lily made me realize we've built something together. It's not just about money or social position, it's about taking care of each other. And what do you feel? Emma took a deep breath, gathering courage. I'm in love with you, and scared, and excited, and confused, all at the same time. Ryan kissed her gently, a kiss full of tenderness and promises. I love you, Emma. I love you, and I love Lily. You are my family. And you are ours. Lily always knew that. Children are wiser than adults sometimes. Always. They spent the rest of the night talking about the future, about plans, about how to integrate their lives in a natural and healthy way. The next day, Emma formally accepted the promotion. Lily celebrated as if it were her own birthday. Now you're a real boss, Mommy. And you, what do you think about it? I think you deserve it, and I think Mr. Ryan deserves to be happy too. Why are you thinking about his happiness? Because when you're happy, he gets happy too. That's how families work. 6 months later, Emma's new department was running perfectly. She had developed an innovative client tracking system that was being studied by other companies in the sector. Ryan proposed to Emma on a Sunday afternoon, in the same park where they had taken Lily on their first outing together. Lily was the first to know about the proposal because Ryan asked for her permission before asking her mother's. Of course, Lily had shouted when Ryan asked if she would approve of him marrying Emma. But are you going to be my stepdad or my dad? What would you like me to be? My dad. I don't really remember the other one. The wedding was simple, in a small ceremony with close friends and some company employees. Lily was the maid of honor and insisted on personally handing a drawing to each guest, portraits of the complete family. 1 year after the wedding, Emma had expanded her department to 3 cities. Lily was at an excellent private school, taking piano and drawing lessons. Ryan had found his purpose in life, working alongside Emma on projects that truly mattered to him. Mommy, Lily said one afternoon, doing her homework at the kitchen table in the new house, do you remember when we lived in the small apartment and you cried in secret? I remember. Why are you asking? Sometimes I wonder, if I hadn't asked you to meet Daddy Ryan that day, would our life be different? Emma stopped what she was doing and sat down next to her daughter. It probably would be very different. Do you think it was a coincidence that I liked him as soon as I saw him? What do you think? Lily thought for a moment. I think I knew he was going to be important for us. I didn't know how, but I knew. You've always been very wise, daughter. Mom? What? I'm glad you didn't give up when things got hard. In the course, at work, with Dad Ryan. Sometimes I wanted to give up. But you didn't, and look how nice our life is now. Emma hugged her daughter, remembering the journey that had brought them there, from the desperate waitress to the respected executive, from the single mother struggling alone to the beloved wife. It had all started with the innocence of a child who simply wanted to introduce her mother to the nice gentleman. Lily. What, Mom? Thank you for introducing me to your father that day. You're welcome. It was obvious you needed to meet. Obvious to a 6-year-old. Children know the important things. Adults are the ones who complicate everything. Emma laughed, agreeing completely. 5 years later, Emma had become one of the most respected executives in the New York real estate sector. Her client relationship method was studied in business administration courses, and she regularly received invitations to speak about overcoming adversity and leadership. Lily, at 11, had inherited the artistic talent and emotional sensitivity, but also developed impressive practical intelligence. She still drew, but now her portraits were more sophisticated, capturing not just appearance, but also people's feelings. Ryan had found in fatherhood a joy he never imagined possible. He and Lily had a special relationship. based on deep conversations about life, dreams, and responsibilities. "Dad," said Lily one afternoon as they worked on a puzzle in the living room, "do you think people have a destiny?" "Why are you asking that?" "Because I'm thinking about our family. If any little thing had been different that day at the cafe, maybe we would never have met." "That's an interesting question. What do you think?" "I think some people are born to meet. But I also think they need to be ready to recognize the importance of the meeting." Ryan stopped working on the puzzle and looked at his daughter, impressed by the depth of her reflection. "Do you think I was ready to recognize the importance of meeting you?" "I think you had been alone long enough to know the value of a family, and Mom had been struggling long enough to recognize when someone really wanted to help." "And you?" "I always knew you needed each other. Children notice these things." "You were 6, Lily. How could you know something so complex?" "Because when you truly like someone, you want them to be happy, and I could see that you both had what the other needed to be happy." Ryan hugged his daughter, amazed by her early wisdom. "Did you know your mother and I had the same conversation a few years ago? About how children are wiser than adults? It's because you adults think too much. We children feel more." That night, during dinner, Ryan told Emma about the conversation with Lily. "She said children feel more and adults think too much," he reported. "She's not wrong," agreed Emma. "If I had thought less about our social differences and felt more the genuineness of your feelings, we would have saved months of unnecessary suffering. And if I had thought less about the possible complications of getting involved with you and felt more the need I had for a real family, I would have been honest about my feelings much sooner." Lily, who was listening to the conversation while playing with the food on her plate, looked up. "Do you know what the problem with adults is?" "What?" asked the parents in unison. "You think love is complicated, but it's not. Love is simple. You take care of those you like, you protect those you love, and you're happy when they're well. The rest is adult invention." Emma and Ryan exchanged a look, recognizing the absolute truth in the words of an 11-year-old. "When you grow up," said Emma, "promise you won't forget this wisdom." "I promise to try, but they say becoming an adult makes us complicate things." "Then let's make a pact," suggested Ryan. "Whenever we start to complicate something simple, you remind us how children see the world." "Deal. But will you also help me not to lose that simplicity when I grow up?" "We promise," said the parents together. That night, after Lily went to sleep, Emma and Ryan talked about how their daughter continued to be the purest source of wisdom in their lives. "You know what impresses me most about her," said Emma. "What?" "She never asked about her biological father. She never showed resentment or unhealthy curiosity, as if she instinctively knew that you are the father she truly needed. Maybe she knows that true love has nothing to do with genetics, but with presence, care, commitment. Another lesson we've learned from our daughter." "Our daughter," repeated Ryan, smiling. "I like how that sounds. She has always been ours since the first day you two met. It just took us a while to understand that." 2 years later, when Lily turned 13, she did something that surprised her parents. At her birthday party, she prepared a speech. "I wanted to thank 2 very important people," she said, standing in front of the guests. "My mother, who taught me that true strength isn't about never falling, but always getting back up. And my father, who taught me that true generosity isn't giving what you have left over, but sharing what is most important to you." Emma and Ryan were visibly moved. "But most of all," Lily continued, "I want to thank them for teaching me that family isn't about where you're born, but about where you choose to stay. And that true love is when you want to be the best version of yourself for the people you love." The guests applauded, but Emma and Ryan could only look at their daughter with pride and admiration. Later, when they were cleaning up the house after the party, Lily asked an unexpected question. "Do you think I should meet my biological father?" Emma and Ryan stopped what they were doing. "Why are you thinking about this now?" asked Emma carefully. "Because some girls at school keep asking questions, and I keep wondering if it would be unfair to you for me to be curious about him." Ryan knelt in front of Lily. "Lily, you have every right to be curious about your origins, and if you decide you want to look for him, we will support your decision. Even if it's hard for you." "Even then," confirmed Emma, because we love you enough to put your needs above our fears." Lily hugged both parents. "Thank you for giving me that freedom, but know that no matter what I discover about him, you will always be my true parents." "And you will always be our true daughter," replied Ryan. "Now, can I ask a different question?" said Lily, with a mischievous little smile. "Of course," replied the parents. "When are you going to give me a little brother or sister?" Emma and Ryan looked at each other, surprised by the direct question. "Would you like to have siblings?" asked Emma. "I would. I think it would be cool to teach someone younger the things I've learned about family. And you are such good parents, it would be selfish of me to have you all to myself." "That's something else we need to talk about calmly," said Ryan. "That's okay. But if you decide to have more children, you can let me help take care of them. I already know a lot about kids from watching you take care of me." That night, Emma and Ryan had a long conversation about expanding their family. "Do you want to have more children?" asked Emma. "With you, yes. It would be amazing to see Lily as a big sister. I'm afraid she might feel replaced or less important. Look how she reacted today. She's not afraid of being replaced. She wants to share the love she's received." "You're right. Lily has always been generous with her affections. So what do you think?" "I think it would be wonderful, but let's not rush. Let it happen naturally." 1 year later, Emma discovered she was pregnant. Lily was the first person to know after her parents. "Really?" she shouted, euphoric. "I'm going to be a big sister." "Yes, you are," confirmed Emma, laughing at her daughter's reaction. "Can I choose the name? Can I decorate the room? Can I teach him how to draw?" "Easy, honey. We don't even know if it's a boy or a girl yet. It doesn't matter. I'll love them the same. And I'll teach them everything you taught me about being a family." During the pregnancy, Lily became the most dedicated assistant Emma could have. She read books about babies, made drawings to decorate the room, talked to her mother's belly every day. "Hi, baby," she would say, placing her hand on Emma's belly. "I'm your sister Lily. I'm getting everything ready for when you arrive. It's going to be so cool here." Ryan watched these scenes with deep emotion. Seeing Lily embrace Emma's motherhood with such joy confirmed everything they had always known about the girl's generous heart. When the baby was born, a boy named Ethan, Lily was at the hospital waiting anxiously. "Can I hold him?" was the first thing she asked when she saw her little brother. Emma and Ryan watched Lily hold Ethan for the first time, softly humming a song she had made up for him during the pregnancy. "Hi, Ethan. It's me, your sister Lily. I've been waiting for you for a long time." The baby stopped crying when he heard her voice, as if he already recognized it. "Look at that," whispered Ryan, moved. "He already knows her voice." "Of course he does," said Lily naturally. "I talk to him every day." In the following months, Lily became the best big sister any child could have. She helped with daily care, sang to Ethan when he cried, and always seemed to know instinctively what he needed. "How do you know he's hungry before he even cries?" Emma asked one afternoon. "He makes a specific face, just like the one I make when I'm hungry." "And how do you know when he wants to sleep?" "He gets quieter and stops paying attention to things. Just like you when you're tired." Ryan shook his head, impressed. "Lily, you have a natural talent for taking care of people. It's because you taught me that taking care of the people we love is the most important thing in the world." "And where did we learn that?" asked Emma. Lily thought for a moment. "I think we learned from each other. You taught me, I taught you, you taught each other. That's how a real family works," said Ryan. "Everyone teaches, and everyone learns. And now Ethan will learn from all of us, and he'll teach us new things too." "What kind of things do you think he'll teach?" asked Emma. "I don't know yet, but every child teaches their parents something special. I taught you that love is simple. He'll teach something else important." When Ethan turned 6 months old, he began to show his own personality. He was a calm, observant child who smiled easily and rarely cried. "He's very different from how I was at his age," Lily observed one afternoon, watching Ethan quietly playing with his own feet. "How do you know what you were like?" asked Ryan. "From Mom. She said I was very active and talked too much, even as a baby." Emma laughed. "It's true. You never stopped making noise. Ethan is the opposite." I think he's watching and learning before deciding how it will be, said Lily, with the wisdom she always showed. Interesting theory, commented Ryan. It's not a theory. I remember doing that when I was little. I would watch people to understand how the world worked. And what did you learn from watching? Asked Emma. That some people are genuine and others aren't. That some really care and others just pretend. And that you can always tell the difference if you pay attention to the heart instead of just listening to the words. Is that how you knew Ryan was a good person that first day? Yes. He looked at you and me with genuine affection. It wasn't pity or self-interest, it was recognition. Recognition of what? Asked Ryan, curious. That we were what you were looking for, even without knowing you were looking. Emma and Ryan looked at each other, once again impressed by their daughter's perception. Lily, said Emma, how can a child understand such deep things about human relationships? Maybe because children haven't learned to doubt their own instincts yet. You adults think so much that sometimes you stop feeling. And do you think Ethan is doing the same thing now, watching to understand? Yes. But he'll be different from me. I was impatient. I wanted to speed things up. He seems more wise. As if he knows the best things happen at the right time. As if understanding they were talking about him, Ethan looked at Lily and gave a little laugh. See, said Lily, he agrees with me. In the following months, it became clear Lily was right about Ethan's personality. He was an exceptionally observant child, who seemed to absorb everything around him with impressive calm. When he turned 1, his first words were Mama, Dada, and Sisi, his version of Lily. But he also developed his own way of communicating, using gestures and expressions the family learned to interpret. He talks to me without words, Lily explained to her friends. It's like he knows I understand what he means. And you do understand? Asked her friends, skeptical. Of course, real siblings always understand each other. Lily was right. She and Ethan developed a special connection that impressed even Emma and Ryan. Ethan was happiest when Lily was around, and she seemed to have a natural instinct for knowing when he needed something. It's amazing how they connect, Emma remarked one evening, watching Lily read a story to Ethan in his room. Lily always had this gift for understanding people, said Ryan. Remember how she knew what you needed even when you tried to hide it? How could I forget? She was my source of strength during the hardest times. And now she's being the same for Ethan. We're lucky to have such a special daughter. We're lucky to have such a special family, Ryan corrected. You're right. Sometimes I stop and think about how different our life could have been if Lily hadn't decided to introduce me to the kind gentleman that day. I think about that too, but you know what amazes me most? What? How everything fit together perfectly. Your needs, my needs, Lily's needs. It was like we were pieces of a puzzle waiting to find each other. Lily once said some people are born to meet. She was right, as always. 2 years later, Ethan had become a talkative and curious child, but he kept his observant and calm nature. Lily, now 16, remained his closest and most protective sister. "Mommy," said Ethan one morning during breakfast, "why do I have 2 dads?" Emma almost choked on her coffee. "What do you mean, sweetie?" "Lily told me that Daddy Ryan isn't the daddy you dated before. But is he my real daddy?" Lily intervened before Emma could answer. "Ethan, do you want to know something important about families?" "I do. A real daddy isn't the one who made the baby. A real daddy is the one who takes care of, protects, loves, and never leaves. Daddy Ryan is our real daddy." "And the other daddy, the one you dated before?" asked Ethan to Emma. "That man left when I was pregnant with Lily. He didn't want to be a father." "Didn't he like Lily?" "We don't know. He never really got to know Lily." Ethan thought for a moment. "That's so silly. Lily is the best sister in the world. If he had stayed to get to know her, maybe he would have liked her." "Maybe," agreed Emma. "But you know what I think?" "What?" "If he had stayed, maybe Daddy Ryan would never have become our daddy. And then you wouldn't even exist." Ethan's eyes widened. "That's true. So it was good that he left." "Why was it good?" asked Ryan, entering the kitchen. "Because if the other daddy hadn't left, You wouldn't be our daddy, and I wouldn't exist, explained Ethan with the simple logic of children. Ryan laughed and hugged his son. That's a very interesting way of looking at things. Lily taught me that sometimes bad things happen so good things can happen later. Your sister is very wise. I know. That's why when I grow up, I want to be just like her. Lily, who had listened to the whole conversation, hugged her little brother. You don't need to be just like me, Ethan. You need to be yourself. But thank you so much for wanting to imitate me. You two are amazing, said Ryan, watching his children's interaction. 3, corrected Ethan. Mommy is amazing too. Emma smiled, feeling her heart full of gratitude for that family that had formed in such an unlikely and perfect way. That night, after the children had fallen asleep, Emma and Ryan talked about how Ethan was processing the information about the family. He accepted everything with impressive ease, observed Ryan. Children have an incredible ability to understand what is essential and ignore what doesn't matter. Just like Lily when she was little, she never questioned why her biological father had left. She simply accepted you as her father from day one. Because for them, family is about presence and love, not about genetics or social conventions. We're the ones who complicate these things. As Lily always said, adults think too much, children feel more. She continues to be our life teacher even at 16. And now Ethan is also starting to teach us things. What is he teaching you? Patience, observation, the importance of understanding before acting. He is much more thoughtful than Lily was at his age. Each child brings their own gifts to the family. Exactly. Lily taught us about courage, generosity, and simplicity. Ethan is teaching us about wisdom and tranquility. We are very lucky. We are, but we also work to deserve that luck. We chose to build this family with love and dedication. True, and the children feel that. That's why they are so secure and happy. 2 years later, when Lily turned 18, she made an announcement that surprised her parents. I've decided I want to study child psychology. Why? Asked Emma. Because I want to help other children understand that family is about love, not about traditional structures. And I want to help adults remember how important it is to truly listen to children. Does this have to do with our family? Asked Ryan. It does. I grew up seeing how you always listened to me, respected me, trusted my perception. I want all children to have that experience. And Ethan? What does he think of this decision? He said he wants to come with me to college when he grows up, to learn how to help children too. Emma and Ryan smiled. Even at 4 years old, Ethan already showed the same concern for others that had always characterized Lily. You raised 2 amazing kids, you know that, said Lily. We raised them? Questioned Emma. You were always like this, daughter. Generous, empathetic, wise. But you cultivated those traits. You gave me the security to be myself, the confidence to trust my instincts, an example of how to truly love. And you did the same for us, said Ryan. You taught us how to be parents. You showed us how a real family works. It was a team effort, concluded Lily. And now Ethan is joining that team too. Speaking of him, said Emma, where is our son? Drawing in his room, he's making a family portrait to give me as a birthday present. He inherited your artistic talent. But his drawings are different from mine. I always drew people smiling. He draws people being themselves, with all their emotions. An interesting difference. Yeah, I think it reflects each of our personalities. I always wanted everyone to be happy. He accepts that people can have different feelings and still be loved. Another lesson we've learned from our children, observed Ryan. That night, Ethan presented his gift to Lily, a drawing of the family where each person was doing something different. Emma was working on her laptop. Ryan was reading, Lily was studying, and he was drawing. But they were all in the same room, connected by invisible lines that Ethan had drawn to represent love. It's beautiful, Ethan, said Lily, genuinely moved. Explain to me what these lines mean. They're the threads of love that connect our family. Even when everyone is doing their own thing, we're still connected. What a wonderful idea. Lily taught me that love isn't just sticking to people, it's letting them be themselves and still loving them. Lily hugged her little brother, once again impressed by his precocious wisdom. Ethan, Where do these smart ideas come from? From watching you. You love each other, but you also respect when someone needs space. It's a love that lets people breathe. Emma and Ryan exchanged a look of admiration. At 4 years old, Ethan had already grasped concepts about healthy relationships that many adults never learn. Our children keep surprising us, Emma whispered to Ryan. And teaching us, he added. Years passed and the Mitchell family grew not only in number but in the depth of their relationships. Lily graduated in psychology and began working with non-traditional families, helping children and adults understand that love is more important than social conventions. Ethan, now 8 years old, had become a talented artist and an even more insightful observer of human dynamics. His drawings captured not only people's appearances, but their feelings and personalities. "Mom," Ethan said one afternoon while drawing in the garden of the house, "can I ask you something?" "Of course, sweetheart." "Are you happy with the life we've built?" Emma stopped watering the plants and looked at her son, surprised by the depth of the question. "I'm very happy, Ethan." "Why do you ask?" "Because sometimes I wonder, do you miss how it was before when it was just you and Lily?" Emma knelt beside her son. "Ethan, our life before was full of love, but also full of struggle and worry. Now we have more love and less worry. How could I miss that? But sometimes I hear you and Dad talking about how hard it was in the beginning. And I keep wondering if you were happier when things were simpler. Oh, my love, let me explain something important. Happiness isn't about having an easy life. Happiness is about having people you love by your side, no matter if life is easy or hard." Ethan stopped drawing and looked at his mother with his full attention. "So you were happy before, but you're happier now." "Exactly. We were happy with the love we had, and now we're happier because we have even more love. And if really hard problems show up again, then we'll face them together as a family, and we'll keep being happy because we have each other." Ethan smiled and went back to drawing. "I'm drawing this," he said, showing the paper. It was a portrait of the family during a storm, all together under a big umbrella, smiling despite the rain. "Beautiful," said Emma. "Is that how you see our family?" "Yes, united, protecting each other, happy even when there's a storm." That night, Emma told Ryan about the conversation with Ethan. "He was worried you might miss how things were before," asked Ryan, surprised. "He was. And you know what else impressed me? He was thinking about my well-being, not his own. That's so Ethan, always thinking of others first. Like Lily, they both inherited that natural generosity. Or learned it from us. Or we learned from them. In this family, everyone teaches and everyone learns." "Ryan, what?" "Sometimes I stop and think about how it all started. A 6-year-old child wanting to introduce her mother to a kind stranger. And look where we are. Do you think Lily somehow knew that introduction would change our lives forever? I don't know if she knew consciously, but I think she felt something important was going to happen. Children have that intuition, don't they?" "They do. Lily knew you needed someone who truly cared about you both, and Ethan instinctively knows how to keep our family united and happy. We are very blessed. We are. And most importantly, we are grateful for that blessing." The following Sunday, the family had a traditional lunch as they did every week. Lily, now an established psychologist, brought stories from her patients, without revealing identities, of course, that always sparked interesting discussions about relationships and family dynamics. "This week I saw a family that reminded me a lot of us," said Lily as they served dessert. "How so?" asked Emma. "A single mother, a very perceptive child, and a man who had come into their lives unexpectedly. But they were struggling to accept that they could form a real family." "What did you tell them?" asked Ryan. "I told them our story, obviously without personal details, but I explained that family isn't about how you met or where you came from. It's about the commitment you make to each other every day." "And how did they react?" "The child understood immediately, just like I did when I was little. The adults needed more time, just like you guys needed." Ethan laughed. "Adults always take longer to understand the obvious things." "Obvious to children," corrected Lily. "For adults, matters of the heart are complicated because you're afraid of getting hurt." "And children aren't afraid," asked Emma. "We are," answered Ethan, "but we have more hope than fear. Adults sometimes have more fear than hope." Ryan shook his head, amazed. "Ethan, you're 8 years old. Where does this wisdom come from?" "From you. You taught me it's worth believing in good people, and that when you find good people, you can't let fear ruin it." "That's exactly what happened with us," Emma remembered. "I almost let fear ruin everything when I found out who Ryan really was." "But you didn't leave," said Lily, "because deep down you knew he was a good person, regardless of the money." "And how did I know?" "Because I told you," Lily replied, laughing. "Remember I always said he had the face of a problem solver and kind eyes?" "I remember. You were right, as always." "Children always know," said Ethan with conviction. "If only adults would trust their children more." "Ethan is right," agreed Ryan. "You two changed my life because I trusted a 6-year-old's perception of people." "And now Ethan is doing the same thing," observed Emma, "teaching us to trust our instincts more and our fears less." "It's a cycle," concluded Lily. "Each generation teaches the next, and every child reminds adults of simple truths they've overcomplicated." As the years passed, this family dynamic continued. Lily became a renowned psychologist, specializing in helping non-conventional families find their own definition of happiness. Ethan grew up maintaining his artistic and observant nature, always creating works that captured the emotional essence of the people around him. Emma solidified her position as one of New York's most respected executives, but never allowed professional success to compromise her #1 priority: family. Ryan continued to be the loving, present patriarch he had always dreamed of being. When Lily turned 25, she made an announcement that left the whole family emotional. "I'm going to write a book," she said during Sunday lunch. "About what?" asked Ethan, now 11. "About our family. About how true love can overcome any obstacle when people are willing to be vulnerable and genuine with each other." "Will you tell how it all began?" asked Emma. "I will. Starting with a 6-year-old girl who wanted to introduce her mother to the kind man at the cafe." "And will you tell the part where Mom almost ruined everything because of pride?" teased Ethan. "Ethan!" protested Emma, laughing. "I'll tell the whole truth," said Lily. "How fear almost separated us, how love kept us together, and how each of us learned to be a better version of ourselves because of the others." "And what will the title be?" asked Ryan. Lily smiled. She just wanted to introduce her mom to the kind man, a story of love, courage, and family. "Perfect," said Emma with tears in her eyes. "Capture the whole truth, daughter. The beautiful parts and the hard parts, so other people know it's possible to build a family with love, even when everything seems impossible." "I will. And will you all help me remember all the details?" "Of course," they all answered in unison. Lily's book became a bestseller, touching the hearts of thousands of families who saw themselves in the Mitchells' journey. It was translated into several languages and adapted into a film that moved audiences around the world. But for Emma, Ryan, Lily, and Ethan, the true success wasn't in the book sales or public recognition. It was in the Sunday lunches, the deep conversations about life, the comforting hugs during difficult times, and the absolute certainty that no matter what happened, they would always have each other. "You know what makes me proudest about our family?" Emma said one evening, watching Ethan help Lily with an art project while Ryan read on the sofa nearby. "What?" asked the other three, looking at her. "How you all became amazing people, not in spite of the difficulties we faced, but because of them. Every obstacle made us stronger, more united, more grateful for what we have." "It's because we faced everything together," said Lily. "True family isn't about avoiding problems. It's about solving problems together." "And about celebrating victories together too," added Ethan. "And about never ever giving up on each other," concluded Ryan. Emma looked around the room, seeing the faces of the people she loved most in the world, and smiled. "Thank you, Lily, for having the courage to introduce me to the kind gentleman that day." "You're welcome, Mum. It was obvious you needed to meet." "Obvious to a 6-year-old," said Emma, repeating the phrase that had become a family motto. "The best truths are always obvious to children," said Ethan philosophically. "Adults are the ones who complicate everything." And there in that room full of love, books, Ethan's drawings scattered on the coffee table, and the soft sound of the television in the background, the Mitchell family continued writing their story. A story that began with the simplicity of a child who just wanted her mother to meet the kind man from the coffee shop. And that became the most beautiful proof that true love can overcome any obstacle when it finds hearts willing to believe in second chances, third chances, and in all the chances necessary to build something genuinely special. End of story. Now tell me what you thought of this moving story. Do you believe true love can overcome all social differences when there is sincerity and dedication? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more heart-touching stories.